Hey everybody, welcome to the Tesla Life, episode 74 for November 21st, 2018. My name is Russell Frost. I am your host this evening, this day before the giving of thanks. And see that guy there? He doesn't care about that. His Thanksgiving was a little while ago. Yeah. He is my co-host, my wingman on this show. His name is Mark Coughlin.
Thanksgiving, boy, you guys are always late.
Yes.
Thanksgiving's in October.
Your Canada days before ours too. I mean,
now it's freezing here today. So we are in the throes of winter weather that is starting to flow in, and I imagine our next participant in Chicago is getting this weather too.
Well, let's introduce him and find out. The next man in the Midwest, we like to call him Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Hey, everybody. Mark, pulling up weather right now. It was snowing on my drive home. A nice balmy 33 degrees Fahrenheit, like 1 or half centigrade.
Half a centigrade,
half a degree centigrade, yeah. Yeah. So we're getting into the throes of winter here. Yeah.
The throes of winter. I got nothing.
I don't know.
Finally, our man in the Pacific Northwest may be the best gear outfit and certainly the most fashion conscious, Mr. Patrick Connor.
Hello from Oregon, where we're several months from winter. It's still a nice spring weather out there as far as I'm concerned compared to what you guys are getting.
You bastards.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got Tesla solar panels on my roof. They're not working real well this time of year, but it's not snowing, so I'll take that.
Yeah,
I bet you will.
There you go. Oh yeah,
yeah,
and it's sunny.
And
it's sunny.
The winter, yes.
Yeah,
the winter at 65 degrees.
Well, brr, I wore long pants today. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know it's winter. It's what we do, and yes, I'm going to be an arrogant ass about it.
Yeah, I'd like to update. It's now 30.
Oh wow!
It's dropping 1.5 degrees every 3 minutes.
You're lucky. It's only dropping 1.5 degrees. Is all I'm going to say. Well, speaking of the weather, let's go to Mark for our first story that has a little something to do with that.
A little something to do with cold weather. The Model 3 owners across the world, mostly in the Northeast and Canada and central U.S. at this point, are starting to see the cold weather roll in, as we were alluding to earlier. And we're starting to see some issues spread across the internet of people having issues with their windows that won't roll down a little bit when the door is open. So there have been a few reports on the internet of the window not cracking open so that the door can open. As you may know, with all the Teslas, actually, the window does have to go down a little bit to protect the seal when the door's open. And of course, when you close it, it goes up again to fulfill the seal of the door. So if the the window is frozen in some way and the window won't go down, then in the Model 3 at least, and I believe in the Model S, and we'll go to Patrick to confirm this, but the door will not fully open, or it'll rub the trim at the top of the door. And of course, if you try to close a door, you may even push the glass out and dent the silver frame across the top of the door. Is that the case in the Model S and X as well, Patrick?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And I've done that once when I was doing a software update, and I started it in the car. And then when I got out, that part of the software was not operating at the time, and I shut the door, and the glass didn't drop like it was supposed to, and it hit the trim. So yeah, there's a pro tip. Don't be in your car watching software updates, no matter how nerdy you are on your Tesla. Start them and walk it. You've got 2 minutes to get away.
Yeah.
So if anyone's not familiar with how the Model 3 door handle works, I put a picture up here.
Yeah, it's a flush handle.
Yeah, and unlike the S and X, it doesn't come out to you. you press on the edge, and then you pull that lever, and one of the issues that people are saying is that whole mechanism is freezing shut. It just freezes over.
Yeah, if you've got water in it from, say, washing it, and it hasn't been blown out, and the weather starts to get freezing, those droplets will freeze up. And in a number of videos, they're showing that the handle is either frozen solid, that they can't push in the fat end at all, or it is somewhat slow to be pushed in. There's a little bit of resistance, and it doesn't close flush sometimes. So this is something that I would imagine that I'm going to experience at some point. I try to wash the vehicle when it's not sub-zero temperatures. I am lucky that I do have a garage that I can put the vehicle in. It's not a heated garage, but certainly there's quite a difference in the garage compared to outside temperatures. Mm-hmm. And you get the protection from the wind, so that also helps with the temperature. But I think this could be something that could affect a number of people until they're understanding how their car reacts with frozen moisture at different points across the vehicle. Now, there has been some tips already. Obviously, the first tip is try not to wash your car in sub-zero temperatures and get that water frozen in the first place.
Okay, if you need that,
that's a really good tip. Yeah, it's a really good tip. But another tip is some people are using the spray silicone to put across the top of the gasket that is near the top of the door. So they're putting like a spray silicone onto a towel or something, and then rubbing it on that seal.
So it won't adhere, right?
So it won't adhere, right? So if you've got some moisture, it's not going to adhere to the silicone washed surface. So that's the beginning of it. We'll have to see through the winter if this continues or not, or if it becomes worse. We're not really sure.
So I have a question for the two Tesla owners. I'm sorry, Patrick.
No, go ahead.
Two Tesla owners, and only one of them lives in a really cold climate, so he doesn't know yet. But I mean, this is certainly something that can happen to any vehicle. This isn't indicative of a gross design negligence or anything like that. What I'm wondering is your view, though, could Tesla have made this more of an all-weather car, or is this just kind of what happens when you get a car designed and built in California?
Well, I can tell you that I've never owned a car myself that did not have a window frame, so that the window would go up into a frame. This is the first car I've ever owned that does not have that. That just has the window go up and touch the seal. So that's something new for me.
But Tesla's certainly not the first ones to do this. There are
lots of people.
Yes, exactly. Lots of other frameless doors out there.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing is that if you've got a car with like a normal per se handle that you have to pull on, as opposed to a push in and electronic eject, I'm not sure if that works any better in sub-zero temperatures. I've had door handles stick on me with other cars, so this is not something that's new. It's just that in my case now, I've got one that I'm pushing into the door to eject it electronically. So I will certainly be keeping my eye on it through the winter. But again, I'm quite fortunate that the vehicle has a garage to be in. So I don't think I'm going to be that much affected by it. But certainly the people store their vehicles outside. Could be a different story. And we're going to see that.
Yeah, one of the things that I learned growing up in the Midwest, I grew up in southern Indiana. And so if you pretty much draw a line southern Indiana through Iowa, Nebraska, that whole area of the Midwest is warm enough from the southern winds that it could rain, but cold enough from the northern winds that rain can freeze. So ice storms are just a thing that happens. And yeah, regular cars, when you get a good ice storm and you get a quarter or a half inch of rain, you get a couple, a centimeter or two. There's no car that's going to make it through that. But yeah, I mean, so it is typical to all cars that the doors have to be designed to work in wet, frozen environments.
Right. Yeah, I've had door handles freeze up on me when I'm skiing, for example. And there's usually one of them you can get in if you're lucky, and then you can crawl over into the driver's seat, start the car, let it warm up, and then the others will melt.
Right.
And that's one cool thing you can do with your Teslas when you know you're going to leave. Turn on the HVAC before and let your car warm up, and that'll help everything melt. And then, like Mark said earlier, if you can, put it in a garage.
Hey, Mark, if you could test something.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone in the videos or any pictures trying this, but when it does get really, really cold, can you try to see if it would help if you take a pot of boiling water and pour it over the mechanism and try really hard to make sure you get the glass too. Can you do that for me?
No, Tony, I will not be attempting that fix. I can see there are a few different problems with that solution. Yes.
Which goes to show that your public school system is much better than what we have.
Well,
or
next we're
something.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to show a little video.
Speaking of crazy people screwing around in the cold.
People do in snow up here in southern Ontario when the
Let's
first
look at some
snowfall hits.
video then, shall we?
Yes.
Maybe you can feature me. And then you'll see the video.
Absolutely.
Thank
Here
you.
we go.
Who's that crazy guy?
Video.
Yeah, so you can see I'm out front of the old homestead here on our street. It's snowing. We got about, I would say about 8 or 10 centimeters of snow, which would be about 3.5 or 4 inches. And that came overnight into the morning. So we decided to take the Model 3 rear-wheel drive out for a spin. And I found a nice parking lot devoid of many poles. And thought that was a good place to do this. And we were going to see how the traction control worked on the Model 3 with just standard all-season tires that came with the car. So here we are starting to take a spin, going in a figure-8 pattern around the parking lot. And when I got into the first corner, the car was slowing down on its own, really. It gave me, the traction control kicked in. It slowed down a little bit. It kept me going and really straightened the car out in the corners. Didn't really push me to the side. It allowed me to have control for the full amount of time. But it also... oh, we got...
Sorry.
That's all right.
There we go. There we go. My bad.
But it was a very controlled thing. We were able to just keep it basically on the road. It wouldn't let the car fishtail, which I suspected might happen.
Here's an unmarked
but
blue
it was not doing so. So here's a shot from the exterior.
That's not it.
And
all the utilities.
We're having the ability to again control turns.
Marshall, Banana, Sears, Costco,
and
you can go to the control panel and fix
Doctors, Dental.
Yep.
Look at Brown.
Okay.
Nice.
And then
because I'm actually podcasting right now.
But it's
no, you're not. You're on the phone, Tony. Mute your damn audio.
Tony has not muted the button yet. Yes.
Like he's never done this before.
Such an amateur.
I know.
But what was great? What was great again? The traction control worked very well. It kept the car. It kept the car in control at all times. It did not allow me to slip out. Now there is a setting on the car that you can flip. It's called skip or slid control, or there's a slide ability, and you can flick the option, and it will allow the tires to spin a little bit. If you're in a rut or the car is stuck, you can use that mode to rock the car out of its position and keep it going. So there is.
I didn't know it had that. I wonder if that's only on rear wheel versus all wheel. I don't know.
So
Nice job, Mark.
it gave us the ability to again keep the car in control, but obviously it was a little bit slow for going around those corners. You should be anyways. I don't know. I was just coming from the fact that, you know, as a kid, you would have a rear wheel drive car, which was really all that was available at that time. And we would go into parking lots to just spin around for hours, just having a great time zipping back and forth. But obviously we wanted to see what the tires were like on snow. And you know what? The rear wheel drive with the tires and the traction control, it worked out really well. So I'm not suggesting you not get snow tires in this environment. We do have some snow tires, but we do have the ability to see it. You know, you can get a better grip on the road with those tires, but in a pinch, you can get by just as the car sits, which was nice to see.
Yeah, I was amazed watching that video that you didn't lose control at all. I mean, you were turning hard, you were going fast, you're on snow, and it handles it like a champ. I thought for sure with the all-season tires that it's going to slide a lot more than it did.
Right. Oh, I was fairly confident it would work well because I had the lucky ability to connect with Yo-Yo, who was on our show previously when he did his North American tour. He dropped by our office here in Ontario, and I was able to go for a spin in his Model 3 in January. So it was good to see that the car behaved just like his did. He did have snow tires, and it handled like a champ. So I was happy to see that mine, even with the base tires, worked very well.
Wow.
Nicely done. And I just, you know, I saw a thread on another vehicle owners group today, and not to draw this out, but some guy, you know, sadly probably my age, went on there with like, oh, you know, I've been driving for 30 years and I never bought snow tires. And I thought, you know what? You're only going to get one accident, dude. Okay. The snow tires are a wonderful idea. If you can afford them, if you have access to them, whatever. Just because your car does work with all seasons doesn't mean that it won't work a lot better and a lot more safely with winter tires. That's all. End of sermon.
Yep.
I keep a pair of or a set of auto socks in the back of my, or in the frunk actually.
What are auto socks?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen them. They're from a Norwegian company, and it's like a big shower cap for your wheel, and or for your tire, and it's cloth, so they're not like chains, and they're made for snow driving. And I don't plan on using them other than if I was at work and it snowed and I didn't expect that and I need to get home. And I had a pair for my Leaf, and they worked great. I've only had to use them once or twice, and so that's my if I get stuck in the snow solution, it's auto socks. They're nice and light and easy to put on.
Wow, I have not seen those in action.
That's a great idea. I mean, I've never heard of auto socks, but that's totally awesome.
I think I saw a video of those once. Did we talk about those? Like,
I think I've mentioned them before. Yeah, maybe last winter. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the you know, the difference between auto socks and chains and stuff like that.
Yep.
Interesting. Now, would they be one use, Patrick, or multiple uses?
I think it depends on how far you drive and abuse them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about Model 3 deliveries. Electrek reported this week that Tesla had announced they're buying trucking companies to shorten Model 3 delivery times so that they can deliver more Model 3s, obviously, that will qualify for the tax credit by the end of the year.
That is very important. There's a lot of people who've been waiting a long time, and if they don't get it in time for the full credit, they will not be happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it comes on the heels of that I guess crazy story we talked about a few months ago that Elon was going to be building trailers. So apparently that did not happen, but he has bought a trucking company and has signed some new agreements with other companies I guess, to get his loads moved up quicker so that they can be delivered by the end of the year. So the new deadline for getting the credit, I believe, is November 30th, which is, just 9 days from now. Right. So if you've got your order in by the 30th of November, you're guaranteed delivery by the end of the year, and of course guaranteed to get that full $7,500 federal credit if you're in the U.S.
So doing a little bit of simple math here.
Don't.
I know I'm poor about math, but if so in here it says under 4 weeks if you can pick up your car directly from the Fremont factory. So if you miss the window, the $7,500 tax credit gets cut in half.
Right.
So we're talking oh god, see this is
$37.50.
$27.50. $37.50. So if you can buy a plane ticket for less than $37.50, you're still coming out ahead.
That's not true.
Why? Why is that not true?
Because if you take delivery in California, then you have to pay California state sales tax on your car.
I bought my car,
which is significant.
Yes.
My car in Wisconsin, brought it back and licensed it, titled it in Illinois, and paid Illinois tax.
Right. So yeah, Wisconsin is smart about that. California is stupid about that.
Oh my god! I did not realize.
Wait. Stupid in that we have a state surplus. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, but this punishes Tesla. No other car company is being punished like this.
Oh, please.
But hear me out. So when I got my Model X, we had planned on flying down there, picking it up at the factory, driving to Disneyland, staying in California, and then I found out I was going to have to pay $9,000 in California's tax if I did that. Whereas if I take delivery here in Oregon, $0. So I'm not going to pay $9,000 extra dollars. And so we took delivery here at home and just didn't do that California trip at all. So how much money did California miss out on having tourism in the state? And we would have done the factory tour and all kinds of cool stuff.
I had no idea that it worked that way. All right, then. Yeah. Don't fly to California to get your car.
No, in fact, don't come here at all. How's that? Don't come here at all. We're fine. We're good.
Yes, so Russell's now working for the tourist board, as you can understand.
Well, actually, this dovetails into the next story, where I get to climb to the top of a tower and go away, or I shall taunt you again.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was a brilliant French accent, by the way. Yes.
Your father was a hamster, and your mother smelt of elderberries.
Elderberry. Yeah. You know what? I can do lots of things. Accents. No, I have no talent. What? None. Zero. Zots. I can't do impressions.
Go away, or I shall taunt you again.
Was that Patrick?
That was Patrick. Yeah.
Wow. Nice one. So, Elon announced this week that the Boring Company was hiring, which, that's fun, right? Who doesn't want to work for a company that digs holes? But they were hiring for, and I quote, DIY watchtower. They want to hire someone apparently to stand in a tower and be like the French people from Monty Python at Castle Agh and taunt people. Was that? Did I recount that? I haven't watched Holy Grail in years.
Yeah, it's worth watching, by the way. But it's
every day.
It is an awesome movie, and that's exactly what Elon has asked. He's got a 2-day position where you can taunt the English below from the top of the watchtower that is being made with, get this, is being made with the boring bricks. So those bricks that we saw in previous episodes, they're now building a watchtower probably near the hole in Hawthorne, where they're going to have a media event on the 11th of December to show people the newly dug tunnel between SpaceX and O'Leary Station in Hawthorne.
Right. So if you drink Diet Pepsi on a regular basis, this might be a job for you.
Exactly.
We already got one.
Exactly. So you probably get the neat helmet to keep too, but
Very nice.
it's only a two-day job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I noticed there was no mention of pay.
No mention of pay at all. Yep.
Yeah. I'm thinking this might be a volunteer position.
And you have to be able to slap your head with the helmet on.
That I can do.
California has a minimum wage.
Oh, here we go. Damn California and their fiscal policy.
So if you're free for 2 days in mid-December, this might be a fun thing to do if you're in the Hawthorne area.
Work for the boring company, not a real Frenchman at not a real castle.
With not real bricks.
Not a real brick. Now, of course, you realize that General Motors is just going to build a big giant rabbit.
Yes.
Yes.
If I was CEO of General Motors, you can guarantee they'd already be building that rabbit.
Yeah, the rabbit is on its way. Yes,
exactly. That rabbit would be on its way to the watchdog. Okay.
Wouldn't that be a great PR stunt? That would be fantastic.
Absolutely. You heard it here first, folks. That's all I'm going to say.
The Chevy Rabbit.
Oh, that's
The Chevy Rabbit. Yes, indeed.
they corrected me. VW would be
The VW one, right?
Oh, a diesel-powered rabbit?
Yep.
Ooh. What is that smell?
Yeah, this could go many different ways. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think that's a smell of elderberries.
Our next story is about the production of the Model 3 is starting to push up. So Elon has put a date in the sand and wants them to be up to 7,000 Model 3s per week by the end of November. So this was put out that, and there hasn't been a lot of indications about new thresholds of numbers lately. It's been pretty quiet since they reached the 5,000, in some cases a little bit over per week. But Elon publicly indicated that they need to be at a 7,000 range by the end of November, which again is just a few days away now at this point. But it'll be interesting to see if they are able to get into that higher number, if that's something that they can touch as they did the 2 quarters ago when they reached the 5,000 platform for the first time. So again, pushing the bar a little bit higher, trying to get those vehicles, more vehicles in the hands of customers, most likely for the federal credit as well. If they can get that number higher, they can get more cars out the door.
Yeah, so they said they needed 50 units per hour from each station to sustain 7,000 units a week. So he's going to walk the entire line over the course of 2 days, and I guess count the units from each. Is that what you think? I mean,
I think they'll have
say what he's going to do.
I don't think he's actually going to sit there and count. I think he'll be looking at how they performed over the last couple hours and looking at that data. And the nice thing about this is he sent out this employee-wide email saying, let me know now if there's a reason that you aren't going to make this. And so everybody has a chance to say, oh, you know what would help make me this faster? And now's your chance. If you wait until he's there on the 30th and they go, oh, I really need something here, you're going to get fired.
There might be a few extra positions at the plant after November 30th.
Let's be clear. If you need something significant to get to that goal, you will be fired and replaced by the 30th.
Yes.
I mean, that's not...
Well, maybe if you say, look, if you speak up right now and say, I've not been able to get to 50 because of this bottleneck, and you get it fixed, I don't think you'll get terminated.
Doesn't sound very scrappy to me, Patrick.
If you say, I don't think we're going to reach it, and what would help is if I came to work sober. Maybe.
Jesus. You must be working for GM.
No, see, you're going about it the wrong way. I would say what would help me get there is more Teslaquila.
Okay, that might work.
Legal weed.
We haven't seen any of that Instagram feed in a while about the parking lot. So who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what's going on?
Somebody wanted to keep their job. That's what that was about, please.
Or they lost their job.
Or they're no longer there.
Or they're no longer there. But if they're no longer there, they got lots of time to haunt the parking lot.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Oh man. So we'll see. We're 9 days away. They want to be at that 7,000 mark, and it'll be interesting to see if they make that goal.
Predictions?
I have a feeling they will make it, just like they did the 5,000. When Elon's public about a specific goal that he doesn't always make, but I think they're going to make this one.
Yeah, I would say that for November, November's kind of done. So if he's looking at everything at the end of November, then I would say December, we would see 7,000 or more, maybe 7,500.
Really? I don't think that with the current lines they can get over 7,000. I think that's pretty much where they max out. Which means that they'll probably be. It'd be nice if they could just sustain 6,000 because they haven't. They've hit it a couple times, at least once, but I don't think they've been able to sustain that rate. So that would be cool if they could get over 6,000 a week, sustainable with what they have now.
Did I hear they're shutting down the sprung structure?
What?
No, I didn't hear that.
I swear I read somewhere that they were tearing down the sprung structure.
I have not heard that.
Maybe I'm the only one. Okay.
It did have a temporary permit, but they were talking about they could extend it.
Right. They were talking about extending it. I don't know. I'm gonna dig into that for the next episode.
All right.
And
they're so trying to push out as many as they can. It makes no sense to tear down a functioning line.
I would agree with you. Yes, that certainly does seem to run contrary to the goal, unless you've gotten the lines in the factory running more smoothly and you feel that you don't need that anymore. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Allegedly, what was that? Was that GA4? The sprung structure?
so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Allegedly, GA4 was mostly a hand-built line.
Yes.
So, I don't know how much they added to that aggregate total. It might not have been a great deal, but when you're pushing for a new high, every little bit helps, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as we talk about pushing things to the limit, Patrick has our next story about someone doing that exactly with their car.
Wow. Oh yeah. So we saw somebody earlier driving around on some white stuff and going crazy. Now we've got somebody else doing that. This guy has a performance Model 3. And he wanted to see how fast he could go.
He was able to do something, Mark.
Okay. I've got it. I'm not sure here.
I have it if you want it.
That's what she said.
I just. Wow, that's a lot.
All right. Can you see that now?
Yes.
We can see it now.
Look at that. 130.
135. 140. He's going for 150.
155.
147. There's the 150.
3.
Wow.
4. Come on, 155.
One more.
Come on. Must be a headwind.
Somebody in the trunk.
Someone in the trunk. Yes.
Oh.
Never made the top speed of 155.
Yep. So now he's slowing down.
Hitting some rough salt, it looks like.
Yeah, this is in Utah, right?
Yeah.
This is where they trial those speed records out there.
In Bonneville. Okay, yeah. So outside of Salt Lake City. And it looks like he's turning the wheel. I'm not seeing.
Well, he's doing like
now he's got to go
an hour there.
There's an exciting part coming up here.
Maybe maybe he's taking a second run.
No,
we've got to go back now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Might as well.
You do 150 miles an hour for 10 seconds, you're pretty far away from where you started.
Interesting. I just don't want to. He's definitely going to make another run at it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to hurtle back towards civilization at 150. It's one thing.
The guys at the time gate really get concerned.
Here it comes. You got to watch. Okay, watch the mountains. Watch the mountains in the background or foreground.
He's slipping a little there.
Whoa!
That
sideways.
that is dangerous.
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yes.
and there goes the camera. Oh, that's not good news.
Wife or girlfriend, I think, from the audio. Yeah.
Time to change your pants. Yeah. Ouch.
Nothing like doing
There
a
you go.
spin out at 134 miles an hour to wake you up.
Happy to
I
say
I don't know if you
never
can hear it or
experienced
not, but they were not freaking out. They were laughing and like, "Oh, this is so fun!" Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah.
That really shocks me that car could do a spin at that speed
and
not lift off the ground and topple. Like that's incredible.
low center of gravity, my friend, right?
Have any of the three of you ever been on a salt flat like that?
No, but I've done a 180 like that.
Yeah, but okay.
At 130?
No, not quite that fast. No.
Yeah.
Probably
I've done that.
55.
I've done that on snow, but snow and ice. But
I need to get up there. I've always wanted to go up there.
And the explanation in the video was that they hit some loose salt or some loose dirt, and it caused the vehicle to bite a little bit on one side and started the turn. And it's like, wow, I would not be doing something like that. That sounds crazy to be that you could lose control that easy. Like he was gripping the wheel. It wasn't like he was, jarring the wheel back and forth. It was going straight. Yeah. He was up over 100 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden it started to turn on him. Like he had no control.
One of the crazy parts to me is when you watch that video, and like I said, you're watching the mountains, you're watching the horizon. It's level the entire time. Like the car didn't even look like it was even considering rolling or anything. It just stayed flat and just spun.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many cars would have rolled in a situation like that, spinning out at 130 miles an hour? A lot of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, I mean, Coda probably would not have survived.
Well, I've had a vehicle up to 130 miles an hour. I want to tell you, I was gripping the wheel firmly. Okay. And I wasn't going to 155, and I wasn't on salt flats though. So, for better or worse.
Yeah.
I do have video footage confirming that speed.
I've been to triple digits only once. And yeah, it was an interstate, and it was the middle of nowhere, and it was bone dry, and I was, but yeah, even then I was like, oh my God.
My third generation Prius, Idaho, about 11 o'clock at night, 105.
Yep.
Mic drop. Boom. I'm out of here. Thank you. Like, no one cares. You went 100 miles an hour in a Prius, you're an idiot. So
oh man.
I assume the next story about snow we've already done.
We have, yes.
So then we have a Twitter poll that Mark's going to probably pull some data up on. Mark, tell us what Twitter said.
Well, we did ask the question, and I've queued the wrong story. So,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. We're going to.
Do you want me to go to a different story?
We're going to do a different story about Hug Your Tesla.
Oh, let's talk about this. Hug Your Tesla. This was all the rage at the Tesla Life Central this week, and I can't wait to hear what my two Model 3 owners have to say about this.
Yeah, so we got an interesting tidbit over the Instagram and Twitter feed. And by the way, if you want to be in on the fun, please press the follow for the Twitter feed at the Tesla Life or on our Facebook page, the Tesla Life #1. But we got this tip that came in that was telling us that if you were to touch both taillights at the same time at the back of the Model 3, then a port would open up on the side of the passenger side where the charger is on the other side, and it would show a little red heart. A little red T heart in red would flash.
Of course, you lose all your dignity.
Of course, you've lost it already if you got to this point.
Hug your
You didn't get to
Tesla.
this point. You lost even more dignity
Are you just hugging?
because
or
there
are
was
you-
no reward at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
This was a hoax. This gentleman put this on Instagram, indicating that if you were to just touch it at the right time, that that this mysterious second port would open up, and of course, that doesn't exist. This was just a joke that was placed, but it got some great airplay on the weekend about what was going on here.
So is this photoshopped or what?
Yes.
It
Must
be,
be
yeah.
photoshopped. Yeah. So he's done a reverse and has hidden the actual port that's there, I'm assuming. And of course put the red little T.
Yeah, it's a heart, so you can
It's
see
a
the
heart.
heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because if you give it a hug, you see the heart.
I just want to understand why. Does anybody have any clue why you do this?
2
Why
seconds of fame is what
Why
it
did
is.
someone troll people on the internet? I have
Yeah.
no idea why anybody would
Yeah,
ever do that.
Patrick, why would
Says the
someone
internet
troll
troll.
someone on the internet?
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody would do that.
Do you just hug it, or do you hug it and dry hump it?
Well,
There is no tailpipe,
the
so-
picture showed a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. But
Nice one.
So the funny thing about this is Tesla does weird, wacky stuff that no other car company would do. So when you see these, there's just, even though you're like, oh, this has got to be fake, there's just a moment where you're like, well, wait, really? Maybe, and no. It's if you go and look at that side, which I did after seeing this, you can tell that there's no flap there.
Mhm.
But if you guys remember, way back when we did the live Model 3 reveal event, one of the things that I was hoping for was that they would have the Tesla port on one side and CCS on the other.
Right.
So because they have them both, and if so when I saw this, I was like, maybe they do have a flap now. They're starting to prep for that, and they put this little Easter egg there. But no, it's a hoax. But you can't just dismiss because we're going to put Atari games in our car. Oh,
Exactly.
and they did.
yeah.
And we're going to put in a winter mode where all the other cars look like reindeer, and it plays Santa got run or Grandma got run over by a reindeer and other stuff, and they did. It's got more cowbell than any other car, so you kind of have to wonder just a little bit, which is why people can do this stuff and get away with it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I have to admit, I went out and checked the flap to see if there was any budge in it at all, and of course there wasn't. But I went and looked because you're right.
Yep.
You never know.
Yeah, I wanted to think this was BS, but then again, I watched a Model X play Mannheim Steamroller, and crazy good. So
It was Trans-Siberian Orchestra, wasn't it?
Yes, Wizards of Winter.
There we go.
Yes,
Thank
yeah.
Not to get our Christmas bands confused.
it's,
No, we wouldn't do that.
it's not even Thanksgiving, so my mind's not even there yet.
Right?
Yeah.
Next, I'm going to show the poll that we were talking about earlier.
Thank you.
We put on the poll asking, in preparation for your normal day, how far would you typically charge up your Tesla battery for the next day's use? And we had 3 choices, 90, 80, 70, or 60% and lower. And you can see the majority of people indicated that they would charge their battery to an 80% stature in a normal case. And it was just interesting to see. There was a lot of talk the day before with some dropping temperatures as to what you charge your battery to. But it seems to be overwhelming that 80% is the mark that most people go to.
Now, not a Tesla owner, so I'm NATO. Is 80%? Is that the limit? Isn't there a soft limit that you can put in the battery? I remember.
Yeah, it's got a slider, and
Quick
you can move
charging,
it
yeah.
anywhere from 50 to 100 real easily.
Okay.
And what you're doing that for is Tesla does recommend that there's a day trip range somewhere between 50 and 90%. And then there's like, if you're going on a long trip, you can charge it up to 100% if you want for next day's use. The only caution you is that if you do charge it to 100, you should be using it shortly after it gets to that point. They don't want you to hold the 100% charge in the vehicle for a long period. They would like you to get to that 100% and start to use it immediately.
Right. Okay.
So most charging the 80%. I'm in the 80% at this point. Really, I've never even used close to it. I could even back down further, but 80 seems like a good number.
So what it sounds like is people are driving their normal drive, and then they just consider going up to 80%, topping it off. But it's not literally topping it off, but
They're topping it off to the marker that they set.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and having that means that you can just leave your car plugged in all the time, but not have it charge up to 100% and start degrading your battery.
Mhm.
So this is great because you want to leave your Tesla plugged in as much as you can, because then you're not getting vampire drain. If you want to precondition the cabin, you can do that with the power from the wall instead of the power from the battery, so you're not cycling the battery as much. It's just a great way to do it. And on my Leaf, I could charge that to 80%, but then in, I don't remember what year, 2013, 2014, they took that feature away, which was really disappointing to see.
Yeah, and I know that in the Chevy Volt, it's something that they never gave you the ability to do. It was always just you charge it to 100%, and the software limits you in the background. So really, you didn't know what real percentage you were at, but you were at the 100% that Chevy felt that they could let you go to, and that was all there was to it.
And
so you couldn't use that extra echelon because they would say that they need that for battery management. You could only charge to 100%, and that was it.
yeah, and you just explained exactly how the Prius Prime works. I plug it in, it charges up to what it tells me is full, and off I go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in a plug-in hybrid, that makes sense.
battery management software, which probably no one here is going to say that Tesla's not very good at. Right? Even I'm going to say that's certainly a strength that Tesla has. What makes me curious about this is that most companies, and we know Tesla holds back our reserve.
Exactly.
We know that most battery companies most car companies with battery vehicles let you operate within a certain range. Let's call it between 40% of the actual to maybe 80 or 85%. I don't know. That number probably varies, but you never actually get to charge it all the way up because that's not so good for the battery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So why does the 80 of the less than 100% total matter? Why, in fact, why is there a warning that if you charge it to 100%, you need to use it? That kind of surprises me in a way.
Yeah, so 100% is the worst, but anytime you're out of that middle third-ish region, that's where you can have the most number of cycles with the least amount of wear and tear on the battery.
Right.
So if you have a 100 kilowatt hour pack and you only have 92 usable, it's still better if you only charge it up to 80 kilowatt hours, and then you're staying out of that top third more of your driving. You're not cycling it up in that top third. You're better off cycling it in the middle third.
And that's, yeah, the Prius has always done that, the non-plug-in anyway. I mean, we know that at least the Gen 2, I didn't have a Gen 3, so I didn't study that one as much, but the Gen 2 was always like between 40 and 60%.
Right.
And anytime we explained that to a new owner, they were like, fuck that, I want the whole thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you're used to a nice car, you don't want 70% of your gas tank. You want 100% of your gas tank.
Mhm.
And there's a perception, however inaccurate, that you're not getting everything you pay for. When in fact,
Right.
what you're paying for is stability and longevity,
Yeah.
not just capacity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the reason why your laptop, the battery is only good for 2 or 3 years, because they let you use a lot of it because they want to give you as much lifespan as they can. Single use as they can, but that takes away from the lifespan of the battery. But in a laptop or your cell phone, it's usually pretty easy to swap out the battery every couple of years. In an electric vehicle, that's a big part of the cost. You want that to last 10 plus years. So it makes sense.
Yep.
I agree. I agree with Patrick.
It's rare, but it happens.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The next story that we had was a tweet that Elon put out over the weekend, and then followed up with someone had prompted Elon about being a tradesman and wanting to have a tradesman tough as nails van that was electric, because they're burning tons of fuel, as this person had put it, and they're looking for a more economical, ecological way to operate a business. And Elon sent something back which was a little bit unusual.
In what way?
He indicated that that maybe they should talk to Mercedes Daimler and see if they can get a few of the Sprinter vans as blanks and put their own drivetrain in them to provide the service industry with a viable electric van. And there was a few tweets after that we wanted to comment on as well. But basically, what he was indicating was that Tesla cannot go any further with what they've got in resources currently. They have too much on their plate already with the coming of the Model Y, the Semi, the Roadster, the want to have a pickup truck. There's too many things that they have with not enough resources to go any further than that. So he was indicating if we could get someone to help us with pushing out blanks, we could put the drivetrains in it, and we would be able to get something to market a lot quicker than if we were to do it all ourselves, because of what we've got laid out in front of us, what our plan already is. So when people are asking for new things, he's saying, you know what? We've only got so much resources, and we're using them. We're allocating them in a certain way that we have planned out. We really can't add to that plan because of those resources are already spread out to where they're supposed to be.
So what I'm sharing here, what I'm screen sharing, is the Ford.
That's the
Transit
Ford, the
East.
big Transit, yeah.
So it's the Mercedes.
It's the Daimler. Search electric Sprinter van.
Yeah.
And what you'll find is that Daimler announced this last April, that they were working on one that they hope to introduce this spring, the spring of 2019. So I don't know that Daimler's all that interested in selling Tesla mules. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. I'm sorry, I got to call bullshit on this. This is just Elon kind of popping off, and then kind of uncharacteristically, but for Elon, he kind of pulled back and went, yeah, we just don't really have a lot of time. We can't do, I can't do everything for everybody all the time, even though I want to be that guy. And yeah, maybe if we can get some empty ones, we could slap a powertrain in it. And boy, who wouldn't want to drive that vehicle?
Well, it is interesting. Oh, there we go. Tony's got a
here's the Mercedes Sprinter.
There we go.
The fully electric Sprinter. So you know what? It kind of already exists. Well, assuming that Mercedes is going to, follow through, but there it is. Just build it.
And Nissan has the is it the NV200E? So they have an electric van as well. Although I don't know if any of those are available in the U.S. Not that we're the only market.
EU,
but, yeah.
Which sucks because I would love to have that car. I would love to have access to that car. It is so cool. But no, just the EU.
I thought we would just point out that, as everyone may or may not know, there are limitations. You can only go so far with the amount of resources that you have and money and capital input and, manufacturing plants. And Tesla does have a plan. They have mapped out what they're building next. The Model Y will be next. That's what they've said publicly for a long time. So it is, and there is talk about, we would really like a pickup. And now this guy comes out as, I'd really like a van. Yeah, well, we'd all like a lot of stuff, but there's only so much you can do in a period that's been laid out in the capital that you actually have. So I guess it's maybe it is a little bit, as Russell had said, that he just kind of reached and then came back from it and said, you know what, we can't do it by ourselves. If we had some help, we could do something like that with mules. But like you said, is Daimler going to get involved with this? Probably not. Although there was some investment from Daimler in the past in Tesla, but I'm not sure if that's realistic or not. But
their first gen smart car, electric smart, used Tesla batteries.
So and Daimler did have some shares in Tesla at the time as well. So
and made a lot of money from them.
Yeah, and sold them. They would make a lot more if they had had them today, but they sold them
with
early.
Toyota.
Yeah, so we will see, but we thought it was worth reporting on just based on what Elon had said.
Yeah.
There you go.
And do you think there might be one last thing? Because there is. There's one last thing. And this is for Patrick. And I'm so glad that Patrick joined the show today because we've got something special for him. Now, you may know that Patrick, when he got his Model 3, he placed it in his garage and kept it there until he had an appointment to put on the plastic protective coating over his car.
Yeah,
so this is a man that bought a brand new Model 3, kept it in his garage for like a month. I would have taken this solution that this gentleman had done, and I thought I would share with Patrick.
Dun dun. What the hell? Is that blue tape?
This is blue painter tape.
What the hell?
Over the entire car?
That is beautiful.
This is a gentleman that picked up his car and had over an hour drive home on an interstate and said he was not going to allow the car to be marred by a few chips on his way home before he had a chance to protect it with plastic as well. So he decided to bring a number of rolls of painter tape with him and in the parking lot put on his own protective coating to save his car.
Patrick, you've been so out-geeked. You've been so out-geeked.
Oh my God. It's a shame we don't have a side shot.
I'm happy to have lost this one. I'm fine with that.
Wow.
Oh my God, that is gorgeous.
This man went the extra mile for sure. For sure, he did.
Maybe he only did the front.
I think he did. I think it was only the front. Yeah, and of course the mirrors.
Right.
Wow.
Oh that's like an artwork. I mean,
well, what a great job! Like, look, the lines are even straight on all of it. He's got he's got this V pattern on the hood. Like you can see, there's a little bubbling here on the over the lights. But hey, it was only to get him home.
Does the front still work? I don't know.
Yeah, I suspect not.
I don't. Yeah, if he's only just driving it home, I don't think he cares.
I don't know. He might have a whole new business here. Blue Matt.
Exactly. He shows up at Tesla dealerships.
Wow.
Flies it while you wait. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Any color painter tape you want.
Exactly.
I mean, on one hand, you just gotta love that obsessive love of what it is that you've waited for. I get that. On the other hand, damn, dude, like, so you blow $20 on some tape, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, let's just hope that he got the 3-inch wide roll and not the 3/4-inch roll.
The 1/2 inch.
Yeah, the 1/2 inch.
For a lot of people, this Tesla is the most expensive car they've ever bought. And so they want to take care of it. And so, I mean, this is funny. We can laugh at him, but I can also say I understand why he did it.
Yeah. Says the guy who garaged his car for 4 weeks.
Yep.
Where you could have got some masking tape and gone out and drove it a few times, Patrick. It would have been great.
Yeah, I totally should have thought of this. Why didn't you tell me?
Patrick's like, no way. All that tape stuff that would have been on there, that's that hint of residue. No.
Right. See, I don't know that the blue tape is strong enough. I think you have to go full duct tape.
Oh yeah, that would be really good. Yes,
and not good duct tape, the 99-cent store duct tape.
Right, of course.
The stuff that rips apart as you try to take it off. Yes.
The stuff that might have been sitting in the front window for several months.
Absolutely, that's the best.
Wait till they have a sale and get whatever print it happens to be.
Tiger stripe duct tape. Yeah. There you go. Well, I think that's our show for tonight. Let's do some shout outs and go home. Let's start with Tony Schaefer.
Yeah. Hey, I feel like I need to say sorry about the little mic thing. So my wife called and I turned off the video, kind of forgot to turn off the mic. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, your phone calls are pretty intense, by the way.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying. Number, your bank account number.
Right. No. Yeah. So my wife was driving her car and the Sirius radio signal cut out. She called me and it's like, hey, can you call them and have them resend a signal to my car? Like, kind of busy. So anyway, shout out to everybody. If you are in the United States, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and a long weekend. Sit down, have dinner with the family and some friends, put the phone away, and just enjoy the company of some face-to-face interaction.
What's up with the hating on the phone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We see he needs to take his own advice. When you're podcasting, put away your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Mr. Connor, please.
Alrighty. You can find my scribblings at carswithcords.net. And if you have a Model X with the tow package, then check out xrack.us, and if you use my referral code, it's PC 2018-10, and you'll get 10% off, and you'll be able to buy one of their racks cheaper than I did.
Absolutely, and that's a really cool offer. X-Racks PC 2018-10 saves you 10% on a totally cool product. We don't get anything for that, but it would be cool if we sold a bunch of X-Racks.
Yeah, it would be.
And you guys got like all the X-Rack people that bought them went, wow, this is really cool. And I saved 10%.
Yeah.
Is that all, Patrick? I didn't mean to jump in.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you very much. Well, let's wrap up with Mr. Coughlin. Mark?
Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. If you're here for the first time or have not done so in the past, please press that subscribe button. Push us over the 700 mark we're trying to get to tonight, and we would greatly appreciate that. Also, you can follow us through the week at our Twitter feed, at The Tesla Life, and on our Facebook page, The Tesla Life #1. And we'd also like to give a shout-out to Lee Moon, who has put our show on the map with some great music, and we appreciate Lee's help in allowing us to use it here on the show.
And the great thing, the great thing is when you're watching Mark do donuts in the parking lot, he's got Lee's music in the background, which is hilarious. That's great.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And there's a lot more to Lee's music that you get to hear in that video than you hear normally in the show. It gets to a lot more layers. It was cool.
And if you're lucky enough to be his friend on Facebook, you get to hear the other stuff that he does just casually. He just debuted a new piece. I mean, he's working on it, but that's very cool. So thanks, Lee.
Yeah, thanks, Lee.
Okay, is that it? Can I? Oh, no, wait, I have to. Okay, so Mark, did we get all our plugs in, all our addresses?
We've got them all in.
We got them all in. Well, excellent. Well, once again, thanks to everybody in the chat room. Thanks to my brand new Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Wait. It gets cooler. Are you ready? Wait. Ah! Oh, it's got a skeleton, baby.
He's been de-skinned.
Yeah. All I can say is this toy is wonderful. And I'll tease you about it, but it's very cool. So as always, thanks to Mark, thanks to Patrick, thanks to Tony, and thanks to all of you for watching and listening. Tune in next week and find out what is going on in the Tesla life. And have a great Thanksgiving, but only if you're in the lower 48.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
everyone else,
Turkey Day.
have a good Thursday.
Happy T-Rex Day.
Isn't it
Turkeys
ironic?